waiting for my Keyway counterpart, better known as the Park Village pop star, the Keyway pop star himself. Y'all make sure y'all hit that thing soon. We get enough people in here. We'll get the plan. I pre-recorded some of this stuff because it's so much information, and it allows me, by having a skeleton, it allows me to jump in and dive in and react to whenever I want to react, whatever we want to add as far as me and Yael. Do Sims and Yael, the Damu Keyway Conversation Live, Hip Hop Police Docuseries, Day 4. WACK100. The manufacturing of a plant. Oh, we finna cook today. Oh, shit, they done kicked me out the room, bro. That's crazy. My bad, they kicked me out the room. But I'm back on Clubhouse. Let's get it up in the chat. Let's see what's going on. Y'all, welcome to, okay. Dose of Reality TV, salute to you. Oh, he got something dropping too. Y'all need to check this out. Salute, hit that like and subscribe, man. We appreciate that. So I've been getting threats already by Porky, you know what I'm saying? Pork Butt, RG Ascari, salute. He said that they're going to strike me to get my channel. So for anybody, let me put that in the chat right now. So if they do knock my stuff at, make sure if you haven't already subscribed, we got a backup page. You know what I'm saying? If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm finna share this in the chat. Make sure that you already subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Okay. Because we definitely at war, and we definitely, a lot of people don't understand how dangerous truth is. The truth could get you unalive. You know what I'm saying? You got killer rats. You got a lot of people that's out here still working. They can't be exposed because they're going back to jail if they can't set people up. So when you flame their ass up the way that we flamed up Veggie Wright Jr., a.k.a. Veggie Wrong, you know what I'm saying? Wait till y'all see a Dose of Reality TV's, what you call it. But I put it in the chat. That's our backup. So if they do it, I'm going to file a suit on their ass. Don't trip off of that. And for any money that I lost, don't play with my money. And besides that, we argue in fair use. The lessons that we teach by exposing, you know, confidential source 137s and educating, you know what I'm saying? And replying to. That's part of fair use. But I'm going to call y'all back. We stay active in our chucks. Make sure to smash that like button coming in blue and red for show. Dudes. Yeah. Hey, that's a fact. Me against the world. Yeah, we was off that Steffi Weffy. Salute to everyone. Blue and red with the active chucks. Degante Cobb and salute. Deuce should have brought the quiet storm over here. They liked the wheels on Instagram, man. And I had to, you know, just, bring it down, man. I had so many racing thoughts and stress and weight on my shoulders. Even with this docuseries, y'all don't understand how much research on top of research and that you got to do, and then organizing it to present it as a story. Man, shout out to my boy Scandalous Los Angeles TV. Shout out to a Dose of Reality TV. Shout out to Smoked Out TV Reactions. Everybody on the team that's been helping us. Excuse me, Selena. I'm going to call y'all back. Y'all don't understand this. The little things that y'all do help take the extra pressure up off me. Just the little things. You know what I'm saying? Suchi, salute to everyone. You know what I'm saying? Nia, hey, what up? Hey, y'all hit that like button on y'all way in, and y'all make sure that y'all subscribe to that page that I put in, the link I put in, what you call it, It is now an officially a cyber war. These people lie on me, say, first and foremost, say that I got my jaw broke, claiming he accessed my medical records, which is illegal without a warrant, right? But I don't care about you seeing them. I ain't got nothing to hide, right? But you lie and say I got my jaw broke. This is veggie wrong, right? Look at him. Look at him. He looked like he been bootlicking the crack of all his life. His daddy taught him how to bootlick the crack. But anyway, then he just said he had to work on Deuce Sin. Accused me of being a rat, right? The police. You know what I'm saying? Okie Mac, hi, RG Ascara, salute, bro. And now he said that I almost said the wrong word. They could have took my channel. That I'm with that community, you know, LGBTQ, whatever it is, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And he said that somebody that we both know, who I don't know him from dealing with any homosexuals, right? But I guess he's supposed to be an expert in those dealing with homosexuals. And he's saying that's what I did on the penitentiary yard. Star Olivia, which honestly, WACK100 has done all the above before. You know what I'm saying? As far as smut me and saying I done did all of this stuff, right? Hit that YouTube link at Lamonte Sims. Make sure you subscribe up over there, because if they take down my channel, we got that backup. We'll be able to jump right back on. One monkey don't stop, no show. Crazy. No neck Reggie. If you feel it's not true, why you need to take a page down, poor vegetarian. Y'all don't know. Let me tell y'all how serious this shit is. I'm going to read y'all the receipts, man, because y'all deserve to know what's going on. Fair use for educational purposes. Damu Kiwe conversation. Hey, bro, that's what I told Reggie. That ain't going to stop him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got shortstop in the field podcast in here today. Yeah, I'm here. And don't put me in timeout. Let me work. Laugh out loud. Now, where y'all? Roddy Rich for president. Hey, man, I really needed that, bro. I ain't gonna even lie. I needed that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm so exhausted. Shortstop, I'm watching you. Don't shoot shortstop, no matter how much he trolls. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much he trolls, don't shoot him. Shorty do what? Fingers crossed. Henny glasses. I don't know what those is after the Henny glasses. The active Chucks Henny glasses. To active Chucks in the chat. Salute to you. Salute to you. You know what I'm saying? Mike Lachlan, my Chucks is active. Salute my dog. Hey, salute, King. You know what I'm saying? Monique Hill, what up with it? I didn't even see Spirit Wonder. What up, Spirit Wonder? I didn't even see you. I must be sliding a little too fast. Hit that like button on your way in. And we finna get into this first content because it's so much. I don't even know how much we gonna be able to run today. But we add an extra day, flaming CS2 back up anyway. But we want to tell this story. And I sent y'all the what you call it, but let's see if we could get into this, man. Me against the world. Let me see, which one is that? I think that's the one. Nah, that ain't it. Let's go like this. Okay, I think this one is the one it is. Let's go like that. Yeah, this is it. So we're gonna have to stream it like this. If I have any technical difficulties, it's on me. Y'all hit that like button. Stay active in the chat. Let me take this off. Let's start this off. And that helped to birth me. LA once seeing that design starts active entertainment. And you look in the back and you said, oh, I was supposed to tell y'all about Veggie Right first. Hold on. Let me read this to y'all. You know what I mean? So today, I guess we struck a nerve I guess he's ultra sensitive, even in his old age. You know what I'm saying? And we already know how narcissistic he is. You know what I'm saying? So he hit me, and he like, you really shouldn't build your channel off other people's content, especially when I have relationships with the other channels as well. Vlad TV, Bomb First, etc. 3 strikes, you won't be able to post for 10 days. Think about the insults. I'm very good at strike. I never insulted you. I called a ball and a strike. Now, if you don't like the truth, hey, my nigga, that's something you got to learn to live with. I said, I take it that you are upset about the truth. Anytime you add something original to something else, such as a reaction video, you can register for copyright. That which is copyrightable, especially under the fair use clause of the DMCA being Digital Millennial Copyright Act. He said, not your truth, just don't like being disrespected by broke clowns. I'll just remove them for 10 working days since you calling my bluff. So I sent them the law, and I said, under the DMCA, fair use refers to the legal right to use a portion of copyrighted material. A portion of copyrighted material without permission in specific situations like criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. As long as you use it, as long as the use is considered fair based on 4 key factors: the purpose and character of the use, the nature of the copywriting work, the amount and substantiality of the portion used, and the effect of the use upon the potential market for the copyrighted work. So he's telling me and threatening me he's going to call his friends Vlad TV and all these other people who he's seen in the whatchamacallit to get them to do. So I said, so he said, you don't think I know YouTube rules? I'll teach you. I said, criticism, commentary, teaching, news reporting. I check every box. You didn't know I studied the DMCA and copyright law? He said, it's better to show you than to argue with you. I said, if you do, I suffer any damages, I'll see you in court. He said, okay, you make $30 a video, if that. I said, well, I dare you. If I filed that civil suit pro se, and I sent them the link to the civil suit I filed against Amazon, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. So I said, if I filed that in pro se, getting a bag out of billion-dollar companies, what makes you think I am not willing to, I'm not lining you up to pay me a nice bag? He said, we'll see. I said, okay, good luck, sir. I tried to not have to sue you, especially the defamation of character, claiming my jaw got broken. How could you claim that unless you had access to my medical records illegally? A photo of my CDCR, which is the California Department of Correction Rehabilitation ID, illegally, right? A photo of my, and then claiming that I was gay and that there was paperwork on me. Let's play ball. Maria can tell you all of my nasty habits. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so we own that, but we finna get into this real quick, man. Hopefully I don't have no technical difficulties with this. And this will start right here, 1992. Then we're going to get into the Golden Death Row. Welcome to Damu Kiwi Conversations. We are coming with Hip Hop Police, the Docuseries live. I'm going to start off from the beginning, let you know a little bit about the tensions between in Los Angeles between the melanated communities in the inner cities of South Central Los Angeles, Compton, Watts, Long Beach, Inglewood, West LA, etc. Let's get right into it,
man. Citywide riots sparked by.
What we wanted was clear direction so that we could respond to make the city safer.
In terms of getting the people on the street, it's taken us a little longer than I had hoped.
It's huge sense of frustration over the lack of response.
decided not to attend a riot that it co-created.
6 days of violence, 1,000 injured.
Go to Florence and Normandy and not abandon that intersection and let it become a flashpoint. It was a crisis of leadership.
20 years ago, we had, we were at war with LAPD.
And, you know, it is my goal that that never, ever happen again in the city of Los Angeles. That my kids never have to feel the way that I felt that night watching my police department fail. LA was a place without law.
LAPD.
So this was benches overran the cut, and this is what you got: total dissatisfaction and a response from the inner city communities. We're gonna get into Yael. Welcome to the Damu Keyway Conversations, brother.
Da, 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 da. It's yeah. Brother, thank you, and these salutations, and thank you for holding it down until I
Keep taking me for granted. I'm gonna block your ass from coming in next time, but it's all right. But let's go. During the 1992 riots, there was negotiations from the penitentiary and on the gang troops, and we're gonna get into that. But let me show y'all a little bit more vivid picture of the riot, because I want y'all who probably weren't even alive at that time to be able to, you know, really understand. Let's go. This was the 1992 riot, the Los Angeles riot. Rest in peace, Natasha Harlan. I'll never forget you, girl. Never.
Oh, no.
Back. Creek, what's up, homie? Whoa.
Okay,
Y'all hear that helicopter?
Keith?
Traumatizing memories when you hear that helicopter. Traumatizing memories when you remember Natasha Harlan. The beating of Reginald Denny. Was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, Keith and Kelly, this is Cliff. Can you? Yeah, we're trying the best we can. We also have some other information. The PD helicopter just left here. The pilot's reporting a situation. We'll cover this, and he departed northbound. I think he's going to try to land someplace, but I don't know whether he was hit with something or not. But boy, I tell you, it's really a nasty, nasty situation.
I think y'all get. I don't want to do too many graphic images, but I think y'all could get the picture of how terrible this was. So during that time, the Crips and Bloods created what was to be known as the Gang Peace Treaty. Shout out to Cam for that classic hit he made. You know what I'm saying? Cam from Watts, called Peace Treaty, and we ain't gonna play it because they ain't gonna let me monetize. But he made an anthem about the Peace Treaty. Let's get into this footage real quick. Let's go.
I need to make sure. I need right here on the side. Start coming. Don't come up here unless you're going to take it, because I don't want no job and no mess. 2 Bloods, 2 Crips. Let me tell you what you learn about being an ambassador for the Bloods and Crips. You learn diplomatic relationships. You're going to learn something from this experience, believe me. First of all, if you're a coward, right over there to the Bloods. I want to be able to symbolize, not to know who you are. 2 Crips on this side who want to get a job as ambassadors. Let me rephrase that again, okay? We got more people coming. I want to make sure everybody understands. Showing the unity, we have everybody up here, 5 Bloods and 5 Crips that will go out of Los Angeles, and we will take you from city to city, state to state, and spread the word that we're going to love each other, and we're going to spread the good news that it's time for unity. We're going to pay for your trip, we're going to pay you for the job, and we're going to work with you to set up the meetings. I got 2 Bloods already came up. Do I have 2 Crips that'll come up and take the job? There's 2 here.
Damn, hold on. Is that my shit? That look like a young veggie Wright Jr. And the Crip cop. That look like Diane. Damn, yeah, it's really
Can you tell me what happened? Tell me what they was talking about, everybody getting together and unite and stop the violence, stop all the killing and killing kids and all that, because you get together and unite together and stop all this killing, everything will be fine. Everybody can go anywhere, anybody can go enjoy going to a club or party, anything like that. So that's what they were talking about mostly, was stopping all the killing and violence.
I'm gonna stop it there. Since as long as you got life, you will have death. As long as you got good, you'll have evil. So I don't think that we'll ever be able to stop all of the killing. But if we can negate the majority of the dumb, stupid killing, I think that we'll be better off, right? But I'm not naive enough to believe that somebody ain't hungry today and will go by any means to do that. I'm not naive enough to believe that some people are scared to get their butt whooped, and instead of fighting, they'll up a gun and rather do 30 years to life in prison than to take an ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, for family, that was the peace treaty, and from there, growing up as a product of my environment in South Central Los Angeles, that the desire in me witnessing that change between wars, that was 1992. So you're talking about 30 something years of Crip and Blood wars and gang wars in Los Angeles. Since 1968, 69, the Crips started. I'm from Brims. That's 1968. All the way to 1992, different warring factions with little to no diplomatic ties. And that helped to birth me, once seeing that, a desire to start Active Chuck's Entertainment. When you look in the back and you see that red and blue dragons coming and unifying on the mic and to turn into the logo, which is the microphone with a red and a blue Chuck symbolizing a ride, West Coast, right? Los Angeles, our culture, right? The red and the blue through music and entertainment. I understood that that was a platform for that, music and entertainment, where the two can come together without all of that. Let's get into the relationships or lack thereof with the police around the time that this peace treaty was formed, right? So I'll share this with y'all, and let me put it up on the board for y'all. The relationship between the Black community and law enforcement in Los Angeles remains tense, with many acknowledging the systemic racism persists. Explanation: police brutality. Black people are disproportionately killed by police in Los Angeles County. Economic inequalities, the economic disparities that led to the 1992 riots persist today. Systemic racism. Racism in policing and society continues, including over-policing of Black communities. Community mistrust. Some say that there is a need for a community of trust between law enforcement, government, and the people. I don't believe that. I believe that segregation is the only way we're going to ever have peace within our own community. Self-government, sovereignty, policing ourselves, because it's in our... That's what I don't want. Our interests, our own self-interest, to govern our own and to police our communities, protect our families. Not, come on, man, importing foreigners that's not of our community to do it. So now, after after the peace treaty, it only lasts several days. If you listen to the stories that my big homies in them was telling us, the police was telling us about the police locking brothers up, utilizing their cars to go do drive-bys on different hoods, and it's not in the police's interest to see a ceasefire go down. In fact, it's total. We finna make sure we upload this shit so we don't gotta do being able to extort taxpayers' dollars to police these communities that are high in crime. So look at the number of gang homicides, right? You had it peak out in 1992, right? The peace treaty happened for several days. The next year, the gang murders, not murders, period, just Bloods versus Crips, 720. Don't worry, we ain't finna keep dealing with this shit. 4 unalive. 19. Got something for their ass. Bear with me. 1993. Then 1994 skyrockets back up to 779. Then it skyrockets back up in 1995 to a peak 887 gang murders, Bloods and Crips. This is my generation. And you talking about from 92. Yeah, this shit is Roman, but that's why I did release with the other one. So what we gonna do is we 93. We finna release. These were the bloody 80s, 1980. Gang murders. And they continue to climb, peaking in 92. 92, but if you look, you can see 95, the gang murder. Then 1995, this period right here, gang murder looks to be the most terrible in all of the years of the gang murders. And this was after the police worked and took measures to stop the peace treaty. Let me talk about that while that's waiting. The police actually that was going on in arrest somebody in one neighborhood, go while they arrested, use their car and go shoot at another rival neighborhood to stop the peace treaty that was negotiated in the streets. Facts. Now, it's not just the local police officers, they're just proxies of the state, which is proxies of the federal government. So I'm gonna read y'all this and then we're gonna end this segment and get to going into hit that like button. Know it's kind of slow. We're gonna speed it up soon. We got these other ones being released as we speak. Some of these police officers. Let's show y'all this real quick. They'll never forget this. Yeah, I know the Roman is kind of terrible. We're going to show you, but we're ahead at Hip Hop Police Docuseries. These tactics. Many of the tactics used in COINTELPRO are alleged to have seen continued use, including discrediting targets through psychological warfare, smearing individuals and groups using forged documents like fake paperwork, and by planting false reports in the media. Today it would be social media. Harassment. Still not going, huh? Wrongful imprisonment, illegal violence, and assassination. We're going to show y'all that and introduce you to some of the players. What time is it? 11 o'clock. Oh, I got the damn time too long. Police Docuseries. Let's go. Let's go like this. Boom. My bad. 5 minutes after the announcement. Let me close this. Yael, talk to me real quick. Let me know. Oh, Yael done left. We'll wait for him to come. Hey, hit that like button. Let's go. Rodney King was my homie, and he was a part of the peace treaty movement that spread throughout LA. Well, salute to you, Mad Judah. Salute to y'all, homies, for Sweetport, Louisiana. Drop that real knowledge. Hey, bro, salute. But that was LA at that time. You know what I'm saying? We could close that one out. And I'm trying to see what's going on with this release. I think that, yeah, they're not letting me do it. Let me see. So let's go 10. Or is this 9? Yeah, this is 9 o'clock. I'm tripping. 9 o'clock, bam. 9, what time is it? So we could go 9:05. Let me see. Stream. Oh, shit. So let me put 10. This is going to take a little minute. They're making me have to schedule an announcement of the damn thing. Save changes. I don't know what the hell's going on, bro. I'm not even going to lie. Let me put this on here also. Start at least 5 minutes after the announcement. Okay, well, the announcement is, I don't know what I'm doing. We'll try to figure it out. But bear with me. Yeah, matter of fact, let me play this video for y'all real quick while we wait. We having technical difficulties, man. And this is what we didn't need. But while we doing that, hit that like button, turn this shit back up, man. Just bear with me a couple minutes. We'll get y'all on point. Y'all ain't gonna want to miss the next session. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Wait, where we at? Yeah, shout out to Karen for the peace treaty. All right, now let me start.
Who I was, I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. I remember who I was, I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. If you understand it, light up, you know where I'm coming from. If you understand it, light up, you know where I'm coming from.
It's the loyalty, disloyalty. Been with this shit toiletry. Beef with Crips warrior. I keep a 6 for ya. In the mix, culinary. My wit game legendary. Mix cocaine with that cocaine. Profits necessary. Never snitch. While kids get seduced by Miss Piggy. Say my Merca trail nigga wearing some skinnies. Claim real. Have you ever faced the L for a body? You know you didn't kill and didn't squill on anybody. Have your shirt been stained by the blood of homie slain? Niggas you play ball with, try imagining my pain. 10 weights, your man mom fingers you to blame. Sin without your influence, her son that never bang.
Remember who I was, I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. I remember who I was, I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. If you understand it, light up, you know where I'm coming from. If you understand it, light up, you know where I'm coming from.
I suffer physical abuse. I'm no stranger to violence. Hung my forefathers on nooses. Cops harassed without conscience. Fuck them bastards. Racial profile. Racial tensions arising. Not just SoCal. Debate Missouri. Y'all protest. Where we go now? Lost hope. Find evidence suggests our children educated inferior. Rich kids get the best. Might sound bitter. Truth is, all I want is success. For Junior and my sister kids. Sacrifice my last breath. Seeking progress and change. Maybe a permanent address. They'll call home knowing that works. They have a workplace in West. Is it wrong being black or being born with less into a dysfunctional family? Bloodlines a train wreck.
Remember who I was, I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. I remember who I was, I'm not going back where I started from. Don't look back, I'm gone. Light up, if you understand it, light up, you know where I'm coming from. Light up, if you understand it, light up, you know where I'm coming from.
Light up.
light up. If you understand it, light up. Look for where I'm coming from.
Hey, let me hear that second verse. Thank you for coming back to join us, Yael. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna stop with that one. And I'm gonna go on YouTube real quick. And we should be streaming the right now. The second part. Let's go. Boom. It should be streaming live. What time is it? Oh no, we got 2 minutes. So it'll be streaming live in about 2 minutes, man. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, what was you at in the 92 riots, bro? How old was you? You muted up, bro.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Dude.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was living in the women's north.
Oh, you was living in the women's north. Well, did you partake in any of the festivities, brother? Like looting, burning down buildings, stealing a pistol from Western Surplus? Any of the above would add to your street
I was too young. Pops didn't want me doing all that.
Oh yeah. How old was you?
Damn, I had to be about what? See if I was 12, let me see. 12.
What year you was born, brother? Because that was 92, brother.
I was 8 years old.
Oh, yeah. You was just a little too young. You know what I'm saying? Now, we ain't playing that Cam P. Streety video because then they ain't going to let me monetize it.
8 years old.
That's what we can't do. Huh?
I was 8 years old, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what's up. All right, so let me see if they let me see. Oh, yeah, it's 3 minutes in. How do we watch it? I don't see how we could get to it. If we continue to have these problems, I'm finna
You gonna end them started?
Nah, bro, because it should be live right now and I don't see it. Like, we're live, but I released these other videos. Said I was on Adams and Western when Don Ray's burned down. Yeah, I was all over the city, bro. We was tearing shit up. Even the Hawthorne Mall. Nigga, you talking about Western Surplus. You talking about the old Builders Emporium on Crenshaw and Imperial. Yeah, we was everywhere. The old Sarbanes in the set on 36 in Vermont. The old King Swap Meet. The King Swap Meet. Y'all don't even know about no King Swap Meet. Oh, here it go right here. Boom. Death Row Records, the golden era. Let's go.
Every day, and I'm right back up in you with Dr. Dre, a former choir boy and drug dealer whose good looks and laid-back style made him a rap superstar, and whose murder trial would come to define Death Row. And this man, a child of revolutionaries, whose ability to live and chronicle the thug life he would inscribe on his stomach led him to become Death Row's biggest selling artist and its most tragic figure. Now hear the untold stories of their life on Death Row.
Now that guys, we don't have the opportunity to have a chance to prove themselves. We're giving all the youngsters the opportunity. Basically, we haven't forgot where we came from.
Suge Knight.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
In 1989, East Coast rap still ruled the hip.
Yeah, East Coast had ruled, and then NWA changed it. What no more hip, a hop, a hippie, the hip, the hop. You don't stop, pop it. No, it wasn't no more of that, bro. At that point, when the West Coast got in, coming straight out of Compton, nigga, with an attitude, nigga. Let's get to this, what you call it? Oh, man. that rebellious nature, the ability to touch into that rebellious nature of the youth, and to rebel against the system and injustice that seems to be embedded into West Coast culture since the Panthers. And that was it, where the Bloods and Crips got their structure from. You know what I'm saying? And so when you get to LA where those people are raised with that kind of structure, then you're going to get that. But let's get into this. Another clip.
Business person would quickly become the stuff of legend, as would his reputation as a man to be feared. His repeated entanglements with the law would eventually land him in prison.
So now Suge ended up going to jail. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely already has some issues with the laws. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely going to get into those issues. You know, let's go ahead and kill this off. We can kill this off, right? Kill that off. And then, oh yeah, that also. Bam, now we could get into this one. Death Row's at its peak. Hold on, let me show y'all this. We're going to get into this real quick. Oh, y'all not even able to see this. I'll get y'all this real quick. Hold on.
92 to 97, Death Row artists would sell more than 25 million albums, generate more than 300 million in revenue.
Gross
Superstars
300 million.
of some of the most charismatic performers in the history of hip hop.
So, Dre.
What up, dog?
You gotta get
What's that, G? Did you hear that? They gross. You know about it, huh? Over $300 million off of record sales. 25 million records sold. This is a legacy. This was a brand. And obviously, it was still hard for Suge Knight to evade going to prison and losing what he ended up building. But this is my era. When them politics was politicking, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get to this real quick. And remember, I was showing y'all the gang murders from the bloody 80s, which was the drive-by age, guerrilla tactics used by those gang members at that time, preferably with AKs and Tech-9. And then the 1990s, which was the walk-up age. You know what I'm saying? In the 90s, the walk-up age, this was the music, get your man. This was the type of music in the era of our culture. And that's why they had that G-Funk era, that gangster funk. Because we love that gangster shit. Let's get into this.
Who knew of his own upbringing on the streets of Compton.
It's competition out here. California don't care. California is one of the places where they ain't caught up in running and trying to get autographs. They want
hit that like button.
They want what you got. One way or the other. That's why it ain't easy living out here. But it's good.
If Suge was never a gang member, as he's always maintained, he nevertheless understood the allure of gang life. With his size and remarkable agility.
So, Suge never admitted to being a gangbanger. And you know what's crazy? Most of y'all claim because he's a gangster that he was a gangbanger. But it's a difference between being a gangbanger and being a gangster. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what we got for y'all. You know, a gangbanger is somebody who wakes up every morning, irons up his khakis, you know what I'm saying, put on his t-shirt, lace up his chucks with the toothbrush, clean, make sure that they clean and you're looking good as a representation for the set, hopping on a swing or a dyno, patrolling the set for anybody walking around or in the set, you know what I'm saying? And protecting your community, going to go ride and gangbang. Said he was never that. Don't mean he ain't got a gangster mentality. You know what I'm saying? A gangster's like Al Capone, right? Let's go.
He brought
street culture, the street mentality right into corporate America. And it was fearless. You know what I mean? It was a take no prisoners kind of approach to doing business in this industry.
What happened was like 2 seconds and it was over. You know, he got the money and he did his thing. I don't have a problem with it. Maybe you can just look at it like I was an investor in death row.
I was an investor in death row. That was Vanilla Ice. But that was a hell of a point, and I wanted to highlight that to y'all. Suge understood the allure that America has, loving gangsters and those with the balls, because most people don't have the balls to go against the laws. You know what I'm saying? Most people are law-abiding citizens, you know. So with that being said, let's get into this. Suge was so smart, he wanted to represent that and our culture the right way by painting the picture of that gangster subculture for the world to see and market it. You could say he exploited it because he wasn't a gangbanger. You could look at it like he created so many jobs and helped so many people take care of their family. I'm not here to judge that. Let's go.
Then Suge made his big move. When Dr. Dre grew dissatisfied with his contract at Ruthless Records, owned by fellow NWA or Eazy-E, he convinced Dre to join up with him, leave Ruthless.
They took advantage of me not knowing the record business back in the day. But you know, I know what's up with those numbers now.
Donald Brown definitely was a gangster. Rest in peace to Donald Brown.
In a career of shrewd and decisive moves, this one would prove to be the most important. Suge got Dre out of his...
I don't know who that was. That was the same person who said they was on Adam and Western. Donald Brown was a gangster. Rest in peace to Terrell. That's Lil Eminem. That's who I got tatted. Donald Brown was his uncle. When Donald passed, they passed everything to connect everything to Terrell. Lil Eminem, rest in peace, was a gangster. Let's go.
Contract. But Eazy-E sued Death Row, charging he was forced to release Dre from his deal.
Under threat of his life and telling him that they would kill his mother and that they were holding me hostage, under those kinds of duress, got him to sign releases for Dr. Dre.
Suge, nearly twice the size of Eazy-E, dismissed the accusations, as did the court.
Do I need a bat, you know, to force him to do a few things? If he walked between my legs, excuse my French, people probably think he was my penis. So
Suge was a marketing genius, and he know how to give the media the one-liners. They want the one-liners. A classic with some of these quotes. You know what I'm saying? But that definitely was a power move. He was able to recruit Dr. Dre from Eazy-E, however he did it. Like he said, however they got to get it, right? So, you know, by any means necessary, you got to get that bag. That's the difference in the gangster mentality. Whether you hitting licks, flocking, selling work. And he seen that the industry was soft. And he pounced on it, bringing the threat and intimidation of violence into corporate America. Check this out. This dude was a hell of a businessman. I respect.
By 1992, Dr. Dre and Suge Knight had assembled the hit factory that would be Death Row Records. Suge had helped Dre get a publishing deal with Sony. With the advance, they began work on The Chronic. Dre's studio perfectionism sued Bird through that advance, and Suge found another way to make some money. The sound track for the film Deep Cover, introducing Snoop Doggy Dogg to the world.
Suge introduced Snoop
with me as I crawl through the hood. Maniac, lunatic, call him Snoop Eastwood. Kicking dust as I bust police. And you never hear me howling about peace.
Tell you the truth, I didn't even like Deep Cover when we first did it. Matter of fact, they had to trick me into doing the video.
He felt that it was, you know what I'm saying, make his album be negative. So he didn't want to do it, but I pushed it on him. You know, I told him I'd come up with some lyrics. And we came up with it and put it out there, and it did good, and it set it. His album up.
The lyrics and force and stuff he was talking about, that's the stuff people wanted to hear because that's what was going on.
Damn. Let's go.
In the street at that time.
Right, what up, Snoop? Yo, I got the feeling tonight.
So that's what the streets wanted to hear, right? Because that's what was going on in the streets. People don't want to hear some shit that they can't relate to, that they don't see, that's not their reality. You know what I'm saying? They like authenticity. You dig? And who got more authenticity than us? Death Row is moving on and moving on. Oh, I didn't think different levels. Let me give y'all this. So they come with the deep cover, got a deal through Sony. That was their first distributor, right? For the deep cover, right? And they had a budget. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how big the budget was, but obviously the success of deep cover helped them get a bigger deal for the Chronic, right? Let's get to this real quick.
Not one soul got more authenticity than the Damu Keyway conversation.
Okay, let me know you awoke in, brother.
Ready to make an entrance, so back on there. Before I have to pull the strap out the cut.
The Chronic went on to sell more than 4 million copies, spending 28 weeks on the Billboard Top 10. Death Row had begun its 5-year domination of rap.
Wasn't no formula to doing that album. We just went in the studio, and whatever came out that day, it was the bomb and went on the album.
And it was so many creative minds in one place that the song just almost every song came out to be a hit.
We didn't give a at all. We just came out just straight. We just try anything. You know what I'm saying? It was cool though. That's what made the album a different success and a huge success, because we were doing stuff.
Y'all don't know. This is like the soundtrack to my life, Death Row. You know what I'm saying? These nuts. The Chronic, definitely one of the best perfected albums ever, hip-hop albums ever released, if not the number one. The old Funkadelics and Parliament samples, which were so embedded into the gang subculture. My G homies in the 70s, that banged in the 70s and early 80s, when they used to go up to the sports arena, and LA Sports Arena, and fight the Crips, you know what I'm saying, at the Funk Fest and all of that type of stuff, that's engraved and weaving into our culture. They low-rided banging those type of oldies when I was growing up as a teenager. I remember. So for them to add that to it, Dr. Dre was ingenious, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me see where we at. I think we might be at the right place. Oh, yeah, no, wrong one. Let's go here. Boom. So, all right, let me show y'all this one real quick. I gotta share it with y'all. Everybody and their grandmama was listening to Doggy Style when it first came out.
Coming. After being featured on the Chronic, the Snoop debut Doggy Style was one of the most anticipated LPs in history.
First is the Chronic, then here come Doggy Style, another class.
Hold on, while the camera's
Pink
still
folk had the spaceship come
be on the
down
lookout
at
for
the
that brand new
Dallas
Snoop
Fair.
Dogg album. It's called Doggy Style, produced by Dr. Dre. Additional cuts by that nigga Daz. It's just a Dog Pound Long Beach thing. You know what I'm saying? Death Row was in full motion. It'll be in the market September sometime. Peace.
With so much drama in the
LBC, it's kind of hard being in from the 7th Street, but I somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky ass shit like every single day. May I kick a little something for the G's and make a few ends as I breeze through. Oh yeah, don't let me get to going. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely a fan of all of these dudes. I believe the Dog Pound was one of the was the best rap group in my time. That's who I believe. Y'all can yell Wu-Tang or Outkast all y'all want. Not saying y'all wrong, but hey, for me, we needed to hear that gangster shit. Let's go.
From Coming. After being featured on the Chronic, the Snoop debut
Oh, well, we already did that one. My bad, man. We're gonna cut that one out. So after that, Death Row had a dominant reign. You know what I'm saying? About 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into this reign. You had the Chronic, then you had Doggy Style, then you had Dogfather. This shit was some trash. That Snoop's upside your head. Shout out to Charlie Wilson, man. You know what I'm saying? But that Snoop's upside your head. Let me see where we at, man. Let me turn this off because
that dog food is, bro, still in my rotation.
You know what I'm saying? But oh my God, I just got a text. That's what that was. And that's sent me up over the thing. And I gotta use the restroom, so we gonna hurry up and finish up here. But before we do that, I wanted to get into the golden years of the Death Row era. And we're gonna go ahead and play this all the way out for y'all. And I'll be using the restroom while we doing the content. So you had the Doggy Style, you had the Above the Round soundtrack, you had the Dog Food by the Dog Pound, Dog Food Classic, Murder Was the Case soundtrack. Besides that garbage, Dogfather, it was all, everything was, it was all just wins, you know what I'm saying? Classic music, where Dr. Dre was being a perfectionist, required it to be okay, so here we go right here. Let me go ahead and share this with y'all while I go use the restroom, and I'll be right back. Do not leave. Let's go.
The Snoop debut, Doggy Style, was one of the most anticipated LPs in history.
Hey, hold on while the camera's still rolling. Hold on. Be on the lookout for that brand new Snoop Dogg album. It's called Doggy Style, produced by Dr. Dre. Additional cuts by that nigga Daz. It's just a Dog Pound Long Beach thing. You know what I'm saying? Death Row was in full motion. It'll be in the market September sometime. Peace.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double G. But I somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky ass hits like every single day.
Snoop was the first major rap superstar who was organic. By that I mean, even though Hammer comes from the community of Oakland, he was perceived as like, you know, no disrespect to Hammer, he's perceived as like a sellout or just this pop guy. Whereas Snoop, he dressed like the brothers around the way. He talked like the brothers around the way. He rapped like the brothers around the way. I mean, he would, 1 minute his hair is in a perm, next minute it's in braids. You know, he's flashing gang signs and videos and stuff like that. He was just a regular brother. He didn't need to wear like the big baggy outfits and do all the dance steps like Hammer did to cross over. He crossed over just being who he was. And then he had great skills.
Snoop has a different sound altogether, you know. I don't think it's another rapper out there that sounds like Snoop.
When I was growing up, I liked it, the R&B sound, like the Dramatics, the OJs, Harold Melvin, and the Blue Notes, more or less singing, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no rap back in the day, so I'm just bringing it back to the original culture. Like the R&B sound, you can say it's R&B, but it's not because it's a whole nother vibe. It's the G-Funk era.
It's like everywhere I listen and everywhere I go, I'm hearing somebody trying to steal my
Yael, you don't know about this shit right here, boy.
Snoop had the attitude. He walked in, and if he couldn't rap a scene, you would still want to deal with him because how he carried himself. So, you know, he like make you get the edge of your seat and want to see what could he really do.
Snoop's album Doggy Style entered the charts at #1 and went on to sell 5 million copies. It not only put Death Row on top of the rap world, but the pop world as well. In 2 short years, hardcore rap had gone from a niche market to one of the biggest selling genres in music.
Death Row is going to be the
West
biggest
Coast
took it
to that level.
You know, when I take it
West Coast. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg.
Just look at the foundation.
Ice Cube.
The Chronic album is the foundation.
A butter
Snoop
law.
album was another brick on the house that Death Row built.
Rap music speaks to more young people across this world than any other music
regardless of their race, ethnic origin, or religion. It's like that.
Corrupted.
Cause I never hesitate to put a food on the
Yeah, so keep out the manuscript. You see that this must be Black Gangster.
What's my name?
In 1993, the popularity of gangster rap and gangster culture in general began to send chills down the collective spine of America. Its brutal imagery and thumping beats were capturing the imagination of millions of white suburban teens.
Suburban. Look at the mountain there. Look how they looking at him.
The response to this new popularity was swift.
A line has been crossed, not just of taste, but of human dignity and decency.
Snoop Dogg, Doggy, whatever his name is, calling women bitches, calling women hoes. Little boy can't even spell hoe.
This smut being sold to our children coerces, influences, encourages, and motivates our youth to commit violent behavior, use drugs, and abuse women to demeaning sex acts.
While the rawness of gangster rap lyrics was undeniable, Death Row's rappers claimed to be reflecting their own society, not trying to warp others.
There's no way I can say don't do drugs and don't do that. People ain't gonna stop killing each other. We gotta sit down and we gotta conversate and get it together. I don't mean to be political because that ain't even me, but I'm gonna express the real from my heart.
I'm going to the studio to make Bob Dole mad. I'm finna go make Bob. I'm finna make you real mad right now. You with Dolores Tucker. I'm finna make a hit for y'all right now called "We Love Snoop." F all y'all.
This is a business. It's not something personal. You can't come to me and say, "Don't let your guys curse," and it's selling records.
Right.
And it's coming from their heart. I ain't with that Hollywood. I'm with the real. And the real is letting people do what they want to do.
You gonna rip the Hollywood stuff.
Anti-gangster rap activists took Suge's advice. Instead of focusing on the art form, they aimed at the public image-conscious corporations who were raking in millions from sales of Death Row's records.
There is no excuse for any corporation manufacturing, producing, and distributing such trash.
We do not understand the moral obtuseness of Time Warner. We do not understand why they don't get it.
Oh, they got it all right. Time Warner made tens of millions when they sold their share of Interscope, Death Row's distributor. But in the end, the music didn't change. The hits kept coming.
It all worked out good, but there was a period there where it looked pretty bad. And I think it's probably good publicity. You know, it's good publicity for somebody if you're trying to be an outlaw.
Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay, doggy dogs definitely in the hails. Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee
Party.
Death Row's definitely in the hails.
There's two things to Death Row's ability to market gangster stuff to suburban white America. One is the actual records, the production. Dr. Dre made great pop records.
You bang on some wood.
Yeah.
Every record that I put out from day one, it sold 1 million records. It don't matter about the equipment. It depends on it's working. And I am that nigga. And I can make motherfucking hit.
Dr. Dre is the evil genius of this era.
I need some music, Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre, I need some music.
So just sonically, they had the best producer who's doing the best hip hop records, some of the best pop records in the country at that time. So that's one thing, we can't discount that. The other thing is, the Death Row artists became the successors to the bad boy image. It used to be rock and roll image, that I'm a rebel thing. And I think that's a big part of why they were dangerous, they were fun, they were sexy. And that's always been rock and roll.
But for Suge, one audience's approval came before mainstream success.
Listen to this.
Before you even cross over and go to pop, the ghetto got to react to this in a minute. When the ghetto says thumbs up, then you get kids in Utah say, everybody Compton, Long Beach, and Watts is playing.
I want to talk about that real quick, and this is something that y'all should do because a lot of y'all see the success of these artists. Like, say, I'm going to use Roddy Ricch specifically on this. And you guys be, y'all else hating on Roddy Ricch. First of all, the truth can never be considered disrespect. If he was lying, you could say he's hating. But you guys attach this hate word to anything that's negative to the person who's getting it, whether or not it's the truth or what they want to hear. When Suge says that you gotta create a buzz in the urban communities first and be accepted there, it's because that's where all of the trends start at, in the hood. Music you listen to, haircuts you get, designer braids you get, the way you wear your pants, what pants you wear, what shirts you wear, what jackets you wear, what shoes you wear, whatever is cool, that trend is going to start in the inner city ghettos across America. We start them trends. The hood starts them trends. So once you're accepted there and you create a buzz there, then urban communities abroad will be like, oh, okay, all of the Crips and dudes in LA is partying to this Roddy Ricch and Nipsey Hussle song. We know Nipsey Hussle's accepted. So he said he's a Crip. He said he's from Compton, and they're accepting it and bumping it in LA. So it's cool. And then he exploits the community that put him on and runs off. And people say you hate when you call a ball and a strike. Y'all don't never forget that. Suge just taught y'all the game.
And this and dancing and this, look at the video. It's all right. You know, this the new thing going on, so we can buy it. So you got to go with the ghetto first, period.
Snoop, you know I like your friends. They're in here every night, and they don't pay. Snoop Doggy Dog, why can't your friends just get a job?
Taste our world. Celestial Seasonings.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to it real quick. Hip Hop Police, the golden era, Death Row Records. Let's go. Jamu Keyway. Conversations. I don't know why it's roaming like that.
Played against.
A good deal of what Suge Knight did was to give people what people really want.
Sex and violence sales. Ask Al Pacino.
Suge had the marketing sense to know that this is something that everybody really wanted. They wanted this kind of gangster thing, this gangster shit, as they said, going on at the time.
America loved gangsters, and he found a new gangster for America, I think, and said, we can sell this.
We don't know the names of famous scientists. We don't know the names of our U.S. senators. We know who our gangsters are. And Suge understood that excited us, titillated us. And he exploited the hell out of it.
Tonight's the night that I plan my hit. Yeah. Deep cover on the incognito tip. Breaking fools off if I have to. Filling gaps to trigger so you know I'm coming at you.
Gangster rap brought to a boil the keeping it real issue that had simmered in popular music since the birth of the blues. Its tales of deals, death, and destruction not only sounded real, its artists seemed to be living them on a daily basis.
A lot of what happened was all the Death Row artists. Suge's persona was rippled out throughout everybody, and it put them in a whole nother game.
The image had to be upheld. This is Death Row Records. When you come here, you got to have your chest out, your head up, and your hammer cocked back.
While this outlaw authenticity was a commercial jackpot, it was bound to yield tragic results. On August 25th, 1993, a man named Philip Waldemariam flashed a gang sign, a car carrying Snoop Doggy Dogg and his bodyguard McKinley Lee, who was Malik. A confrontation ensued. Waldemariam was shot to death. America's best-selling rapper would be going on trial for murder.
Los Angeles police announced that 21-year-old Calvin Broadus, better known as rap star Snoop Doggy Dogg, had turned himself into police on Friday, along with two other young black men, all accompanied by an attorney, in connection with the murder on August 25th of a man named Philip Waldemariam, and what police believe was a gang-related shooting.
Suge Knight paid millions for Snoop's defense, showed up daily at court. Dre stayed away. More than 2 years after Snoop's arrest, the jury returned with its verdict.
We, the jury and the defendant, Calvin Brodus, not guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
Snoop beat that murder case.
I wanted really.
Now, for those who know or heard or looked into that case, I heard that some evidence might have came up missing. Don't never forget how Death Row was surrounded by all of these crooked cops. But we'll get into that. Let's go.
Thank all my peoples on Death Row Records, all my homeboys, all my management, everything, everybody that supported me and Malik through this 2.5 years of just misery.
Snoop's acquittal only emboldened Suge and his label, which he now termed the new and untouchable Death Row Records. He decided to get back to work. First, he threw a party.
See, we known for having parties, so this is gonna be a real big one. So probably be about 1 million bottles of Cristal and the whole shot. And the studio close by if we go there and finish this album.
Snoop's trial was only the beginning of the problems to beset Death Row. Their star producer was about to leave the company, but there was a new star on the horizon.
This is what Death Row was waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. So now with the combination, it's like we superpowers now.
Having without acting is easy because I want to act like everybody else. Anything to be up out of the ghetto.
Baby, I'm hopeless. Trying to keep my focus. But till they bury me.
At 24, Tupac Shakur was a platinum-selling artist, a movie star, and an inmate at the Dannemora jail in upstate New York. It took Suge Knight $1.4 million and a 2-page contract to make Tupac a free man and a Death Row recording.
Now, for those who were too young and don't remember, he was convicted of some kind of sexual assault or something that the woman admitted he was acquitted of sodomy and all of the other lies that were charged against him. But he was responsible from this woman who admittedly gave him head on a dance floor at a club earlier previously before the hotel incident. He went to sleep, I guess. Some dudes, Haitian Jack and his crew, allegedly raped this girl, right? But as I hear it, all of this was an extortion attempt to try to force him into a situation where, feeling the pressure, he needed money, he needed to get up out of prison, and he was signed to Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman Management Company. But Pop went to jail for that, and I know it really hurt him. Go listen to Me Against the World. While he was in jail, he was on the cover of Rolling Stones, on the cover of Vibe, and he took, I think it was the Beatles, the #1 spot from the Beatles with an album released while he was in prison. Let's go.
Artist.
This is what Death Row was waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. So now with the combination, it's like we superpowers now.
Say what you say, but give me that ball beat from Dre. Let me serenade the streets of LA. From Oakland to Sacktown.
Bay Area back there. Cali is where they put their back there.
If you come to Death Row, you will see your art.
Damn, that's crazy. That's for real.
You will be paid one of these days.
I hope my words can paint a perfect picture and let you know how much a brother miss you.
Tupac had first worked with Death Row in '94, the label's third release, the soundtrack to Above the Rim, a film he also starred in. His attraction to the gangsterism at Death Row was already apparent.
Everybody out here got cases and a real brain and real thug lives to match these thug records. Now you showed me that on the other side, and we could talk some.
Tupac brought so much to Death Row. He was already a movie star. He already had a persona that had a really hard edge to it.
If you open your mouth against me, I will get you. No matter how much time they give me, believe me, I will be free and you will see me. So watch your mouth.
He was a very, very fine lyricist.
Get him, I'ma call you back.
And he was a star.
Get on his head.
Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do?
What Death Row did is it took the harder side of Tupac and really burnished it.
Tupac was not your typical rapper. Raised by his mother to be politically and artistically aware, Tupac saw his life transform when his mother grew addicted to crack. They moved to Oakland. Tupac found himself drawn to the streets and its fierce life. Different strands of his contradictory existence found expression in his lyrics, such as his tender tribute to your mama.
Always was committed. A poor single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it. There's no way I can bring it back. But the plan is to show you that I understand.
Tupac's wild side was also the stuff of legend. He'd been in and out of jails and courtrooms since he became a rapper and survived being shot 5 times in New York before being convicted of sexual assault, sent to a maximum security prison.
When I heard he got shot in New York, I was on the plane in New York. And it tore me apart. I was crying. I thought he was dead. And when I found out he was all right, I went to jail. I told Suge, I said, Suge, we need to get Pop on death row. He need to be here with us. When got him, David Kenner went and got him out of there, untangled him, put him in the studio as soon as he got out.
Suge and death row attorney David Kenner untangled Tupac's jail term with $1.4 million in bail money. Tupac signed a 2-page contract with death row outside the jail, and within 15 days had rapped All Eyes on Me, a double album that sold 7 million copies. Death Row now had 2 of rap's biggest superstars.
Snoop is the Grizzly Adams of dogs. I'm telling y'all straight up right there. The boy really know the dog. I mean, they seen the video where he changed it to a dog, and they think Snoop is a dog. They always want to change back. They all just kicking outside the dog. I was waiting for the dog to change. Like, whoop, whoop, we gonna change, hold on.
He ain't going nowhere.
Let me tell you about life and about the way it is. You see, we live by the gun, so we die by the
Tell me not to go with my Glock, so now I gotta throw away. Trying to do a show today.
And wonder how I live with 5 shots. Brothers is hard to kill. On my block, we got everything it takes to run this industry. We the new Motown.
He the type to be like a brother, a friend, because he real. You know, he don't get caught up in the booth to Hollywood. He just want to make sure he do a great job for you. He gonna represent you to the fullest, as long as you represent him to the fullest.
Suge doted on him.
They were inseparable. Tupac was with him all the time.
I think Tupac did make some adjustments in his life when he came to death row. I think he
drinking
brought
on
a great deal
gin,
to death row, but
smoking
he
on blunts
also
in his song, reminiscing
took
about
on
the homies who
that
dead
death
and
row
gone.
image. So to
That's
speak.
no shit.
Next year, Death Row gonna start printing our own money. Cause we making so much, we need to start printing our own money. It's gonna be me and Suge on a $100 bill like this. He Suge and that move. That's gonna be in a $100 bill.
He was going all out to be this death row person. You know what I mean? To live up to these myths. It's just this hardcore, I don't give up, kind of cat. And having interviewed Tupac Shakur many times before he went to Death Row Records, I knew that was not him.
He went along with whatever Death Row wanted to go along with at that time, at first. Also, I think Tupac had plans for Tupac because he was that kind of individual.
One thing that Tupac did was jump in the middle
Blowing
of a
up
beef
the
between
mile.
Suge and Bad Boy Entertainment CEO Sean Puffy Combs. Suge made the beef public when he dissed Puffy at the Source Magazine Music Awards in '95.
Any artists out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
He hated on Bad Boy Entertainment. He hated on, basically any beef that was created, it was him hating. Suge felt you had to ride. That's how you get reconciled. That's how we look like we bad.
Tupac, once close to Bad Boy rapper Notorious B.I.G., began to accuse Biggie of responsibility for his being shot in '95. He also boasted that he'd had sex with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans.
Tupac almost was reborn. He really was into it, hanging with Suge and all that. I think that the chemistry of those guys created some interesting music for Tupac, but I think a lot of dissension happened in the company. The things that started to change at Death Row changed faster when Tupac arrived.
The biggest change was Dr. Dre deciding to leave Death Row. Dre, who'd been in and out of trouble with the law during his involvement with the label, had served time in prison for a parole violation, was growing tired of the gangster mentality Death Row had so masterfully projected.
You put out negative energy, it's going to come back to you, period. Live by the gun, die by the gun.
Dre didn't want to put up with what was going down, man. You got to realize he had most of the new artists was the cream of the crop from the streets. Man, you had artists in there drinking all night, smoking, doing whatever. And, you know, ass whoopers was going. Dre didn't want to be a part of that.
Ironically, for a man who was helped out of a bad deal 4 years earlier by the efforts of Suge Knight, Dre left Death Row with nothing.
Break up with Death Row, then turn around and get 0 for it. That's a great move for Suge Knight. It was a bad move for Dr. Dre.
At the time, it was a bad move for Dr. Dre because he left anywhere between $60 million to $80 million worth of royalties on the value of his the masters and his interest in the masters of these humongous hits. That was the only way Suge was gonna let him go. And Jimmy Iovine told him, "I got you. Whatever you got to do, just leave with your life." And you see where Dr. Dre at right now. See where Suge is at. You take that lesson for what you take it as.
There's nowhere in the world I left a multi-million-dollar company to go start another company and don't at least walk away with $50 million.
Now I went through a lot, more than the public knows. The record business is to me, the worst business you can be involved in because any Joe Schmo from off the block can make a record, which means you're going to have more cutthroats involved and more shiesty people, you know, and I think I've met them all.
And Tupac was trying to get off of Death Row. That's why he did those albums so fast, because he had an album. I think it was a 3-album deal. And he was trying to move on.
Go.
Awards in New York. Backstage, Tupac said he was ready to battle Death Row's East Coast nemesis, the people from Bad Boy Records.
They see us and they want drama, we're going to definitely bring it like only Death Row could bring it.
Thanks to Suge, Tupac had been out of jail for almost a year. His first Death Row release, All Eyes on Me, had been a massive hit. Some, though, say Tupac wasn't happy with his life at the label.
Tupac was trying to get off of Death Row. That's why he
I
did
love
those albums so
Tupac.
fast, because he had an album. I think it was a 3-album deal. And he was trying to move on.
Tupac loved Death Row. Tupac loved me. I love him. You'd ask Tupac that question. Then was he planning on leaving Death Row? He definitely would cuss you out.
Pop wanted to leave Death Row bad. Hated it. But he knew this was the hand that was feeding me. He got me out of trouble. I'm still going through this. I'm still going through that. How can I do it?
Those who claim Tupac wanted out of Death Row say the rapper felt he wasn't seeing his fair share of
money. Everybody's beef with Death Row at the time was money.
That Machiavelli album, 7 Day Theory, that was more or less a sacrifice album. I need to make Suge more money. I don't even know how much I owe Suge. Exactly. He say I do. I need to make more money, then I'm going to start this Machiavelli label.
Tupac's alleged complaints about the money he received was part of a long music biz tradition. While there's no question that many Death Row artists live very well, whether they own the toys that they played with is another story.
Whatever had transpired with Death Row in terms of artists feeling they were exploited over advances or money loaned to them, that could have been happening anywhere. And it does every day.
Then on September 7th, 1996, came the encounter that would destroy Death Row as the music world knew it. As Suge, Tupac, and their posse were leaving the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, someone in their group spotted an alleged Southside Crip named Orlando Anderson, who months earlier had been blamed for the theft of a Death Row medallion. There was a confrontation, then a beatdown. Hours later, as Tupac rode in the passenger seat of Suge's car, another car pulled alongside theirs and opened fire. 6 days later, Tupac was dead of his wounds. In December of that year, that MGM Grand surveillance tape was used to send Suge Knight to prison. With his kicking of...
So, now Pac's dead. Suge goes to jail for 9 years on a joint suspension he had previously signed. This is the end of an era, the beginning of the end of an era. At this point, they on life support. Dr. Dre gone. But this was Hip Hop Police, Death Row Records, Death Row, the golden era of West Coast dominance. I had to bring y'all up to speed. Diamond Key. Okay, so we're going to end this one. Boom, let's stop sharing that one. Bam, and we can close that shit. Now what we got to do, that was Yael, you with me? What you thinking so far, bro? I had to take him back in time to help create this timeline. but we went through the golden era of hip hop, West Coast dominance with Death Row. Now it was some other artists on the West that was busting. See, you wasn't off the porch when that was busting. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't off the porch yet. I didn't get associated with the organizations until 98. I was 12 at that time. So somebody hit me in the chat, was like, you got your numbers is off. If you was 12 in 98, you had to been like 6 in 92. So yeah, I was a young snotty nose, didn't know nothing. Yeah, I wasn't off the porch yet with those songs, man, but I did get a whiff of them, most definitely.
Okay, well, we gotta get, I don't know where this other video at on COINTELPRO, because now we get to introduce who these police is. So let me go ahead and let me pull this up for you real quick, Yael. Tell me, can you read some of these? Let me see if they in here. Oh yeah, no, they're not allowing us to do it. I know how I had to do this shit last time, because this is the PowerPoint. You feel me, brother? Brother? Hey, brother? So, Yael, you really couldn't come off the porch, my nigga. You never went to the backyard boogie when that All Eyes on Me was popping. Nigga, you wasn't at the function, my nigga?
When I got a little older, I was.
No. I'm talking about when it was popping. You wasn't outside, brother?
Oh no, we was outside riding bikes, throwing rocks at front doors and Pandine doors.
You didn't have no Walkman or nothing?
Yeah, I had a Walkman.
Okay.
That's how I ended up listening to E40 and Too Short in the Click. You know what I'm saying?
The Click. Which album? The Click Game Related?
Yeah, the one with Sugar T on it. I mean, with his sister on there.
Well, that's the Click. The Click is Be Legit, E40, and Sugar T. The whole that's their family, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And D-Shot. That's who I said. Just Be Legit. Yeah, D-Shot, man.
Yeah, so.
Hey, I hate that I did D-Shot like that, man. Yeah, but I can't even act like he wasn't the weakest link on there. But the Click together made some great music. Game Related is arguably, to me, a classic album. Hurricane, you can call it Slurricane. You know, to start an engine.
Enough to start an engine, man.
Okay, yeah. Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me, man.
Dude, you're like,
that shit was going.
Nigga, what? Or how about this one? I hope I don't go back to
slanging. That was way later, bro. That wasn't on the,
that shit was still hard as
album. Slanging, yeah, yo, to get my mayo. The Hall of Game.
The Hall of Game? Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on real quick. Let's get into this chat before I pull this stuff up. Oh, man, they've been going crazy in the chat. Hit that like button. So they was like, let how Deuce be yelling. LOL, he love him some Tupac. That's a fact. Callie Dre said this was the best time in hip-hop, hands down. I agree, Callie. Look, I'm going to call back. Man, I remember where I was exactly when Pac was pronounced dead. I was listening to I Ain't Mad At You, playing solitaire on dial-up. Damn. That didn't age well, Callie Dre, until Beats by Dre. Oh, you talking about when he said Dre was stupid, leaving that $60 to $80 million worth of masters. Yeah, and the media motherfuckers just walk away from 80 million, but he understood his value, and he seen that the ship was finna crash. In fact, I'm sure Jimmy Iovine told him it was finna crash because Jimmy Iovine is behind a lot of this bullshit. Not the Arab gangsters. Cali got niggas saying cousin blood in Arabic. Hey, that's a flex. We gonna clown that. If Suge Knight didn't drop the ball, he would have had the entire rap game. Kendrick, Eminem, 50 Cent, Game, even Stupid Young, Blueface, YG. Death Row would have been the Amazon of rap, and Suge is Bezos. Hey, bro, you got a motherfucking point right there, bro. If he didn't take that 80 million and made Dre stay up under that lifetime management agreement, nigga, I never even heard of no shit like that. Suge had Dre under a lifetime management arrangement. You know what I'm saying? Snoop was mad at Pac that night. All Eyes on Me still better than a lot of shit out today. I would say it's still better than 90% of the rap albums that's released every year, bro. Every year. It's still better than 90% of them. That's nasty work. Pac was ahead of his time. That's how Deuce be paying Yael. Deuce is the Suge Knight, the Damu Keyway conversation. Man, you ain't shit for that, man. When Pac audited Death Row, do you think Death Row Pac as a snitch? Nah, bro. Auditing is you checking your cash, counting your money. Even to be able to audit Death Row. Because the books would be with Interscope. See, that's the twist most people don't understand. If you sign, say Yael signed to Active Chucks Entertainment, and I get a distribution deal through Interscope. Interscope deal is with me, not with Yael. So Yael asking me to see the books. Interscope is only required to show one person the books, and that's me because that's who they got to deal with. So, no shortstop. Look, they trolling like a mother. Yael a mute. He don't say shit. He just here for back channel. Yeah, he nasty. He a pervert. FBI was watching Pac the whole time. They let him get hit up. Hey, that's a fact, bro. Go look at the video we put up last night. Oh, shit. Excuse me. DJ Quick, yeah, Quick was knocking back then. He was doing this shit. Pac died a couple weeks before my 10th birthday. Damn. Rapping Forte, man, where those days at? Yeah, Rapping Forte. Rapping Forte was a real player, man. Pac was the coldest player. Bald head young, Wayne head looking boy. Definitely one was his bodyguard. Papa Dirk, salute, what up, bro? Hope everything all right. He was too young, yeah. All Eyes on Me had my whole basketball team stuck for 2 hours when it first dropped. Nah, Yael was playing with Pogs and Pokemon cards. Hey, man, why you messing with my boy, man? We ain't finna be dealing with your what's called. Rest in peace, Mac Dre. Yeah, I don't remember Mac Dre from that era, bro. Cali Dre 619. I didn't hear about Mac Dre, honestly, bro, till I got to the Fed. I bet you know, right? I bet Roddy Ricch know about Tupac. I was already freak dancing when Pac All Eyes on Me came back. Man, I had been freak dancing, nigga, for wait, when is you in the 7th grade? Like 12, 13? And then I was a mannish little boy, nigga. We playing touch and field and high go get it. We used to go outside, our generation, nigga hopping fences and walking on people's roofs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Dusted in the motherfucking disgusted. Hey, bro, that I was listening to that shit yesterday. Dusted and Disgusted with E40 and Pop. That shit's still a classic. E40 and the Major Way album, yeah, that's slap. All right, let me see what we got, man. All right, so that I see they ain't gonna let us. They're not letting us do that, so we gonna have to see if they let me in the StreamYard to show this video, COINTELPRO, and then we gonna break down these police, introduce y'all to these police, and who we done profiled, that are all the major players. You see Tupac just died, right?
Hey, Deuce, was you on that Mac Mall Untouchable?
Nah, I was off the Mac Mall illegal business.
Oh, my opinion,
This is my opinion. Hey, hey, bro. Do you know that what was this? 9:15? Okay. Damn, hold on. What time is it? Let's see. No, it's still not 11 o'clock. But do you know I stole that from the tape, Mac Mall Illegal Business. I stole that from a Sam Goody, bro.
I remember Sam Goody's Blockbuster Music Warehouse.
Yeah, man. I stole that, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. Well, I am proud of it, man. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. That was. I was fucking with Mac Mall when now everybody be talking about Mac Dre, bro. I was fucking with Mac Mall. Mac Mall was coming down to LA. He was already fucking with Pop. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, he was out before Mac Dre. They cousins. He was out before him.
see, I didn't even know they was cousins. That wasn't me, dude. Steffi said that.
Oh yeah, they was into it because Mac Dre felt that Mac Mall was supposed to look out and put him on.
Yeah. Damn, Moet Nectar said, Moet Nectar. Let me find out you like that soft ass Moet. I like champagne too, but not no Nectar Moet. But Moet Nectar, I was in Super Kmart on Fig when they pronounced Pac deaf. Damn, she remembered. That's how you know that death really touched a lot of people. People felt spiritually connected to Pac. I'm so told. Look, I'm so told. Look, my eyes were sticks together with stitches. Hey, he did it with Ruthless and Death Row. He can make it happen whenever, however. Oh, you talking about Dre? Yeah. Daz took a big chunk out of that account. No, Daz didn't ever get $1 out of it. You know what I'm saying? DJ Quick engineered All Eyes on Me. Now, he mixed and mastered some of it. He didn't mix and master the whole All Eyes on Me, bro. Being real, the West Coast movement helped the down south movement for H-Town in Louisiana with the team up of Scarface and Pac and the DOC. Well, the DOC originally from Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Texas. Scarface and Pac collaborating definitely was something special. But it was the you had gangs down in Texas. Texas was one of the places down South Texas that really fuck with West Coast rap. You know what I'm saying? You got to think in 94, 95, West Side Connection sold 2 million records in the first 2-3 months. And they got 0% radio spins on the East Coast. 0. You know what I'm saying? But look, we live right now. So let me show y'all this. I think we live. It should be live or it's finna go live. Hold on. Let me see what we can get. I'm hoping that we can get this Hip Hop Police. We could break that down to the COINTELPRO. Let me share this with y'all. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to start introducing y'all to what was going on with this investigation and the police players that were involved. Let's go like this. Double keyway conversations. Okay. Yeah, y'all don't even talk no more. We gonna have a meeting.
Sheriff's Department, as well as myself and my partner, Paul Fournier. Again, Timmy Brennan, Paul Fournier, and myself, and Bobby Ladd were involved.
Tim Brennan, Paul Fournier, this is Detective Coet. Detective Coet, his partner, Paul Fournier, Bobby Ladd, Robert Ladd from Compton Gang Unit, and Timothy Brennan.
Originally, after the Tupac murder, with all the chaos that was going on in the Compton Linwood area, For those that don't know, Compton and Linwood butt up to one another, and it's really no hard borders there. So it's it was a war zone for a couple weeks after the murder. And as far as our responsibilities, and that I think it was Greg was counting on our knowledge of the players that were involved back in the 90s, because this was, what, 15 years after or so that this task force was assembled. So he was counting a lot on the knowledge as well as the reports. And
so he says that there was a bloodbath after Tupac's unaliving, right? Oh, shoot. Hold on. Let me get back up on here. All right. So he said it was a bloodbath after Tupac's unaliving in Compton, Linwood area, which is close to the bomb territory off Long Beach Boulevard. Like he said, it's no hard borders right there. Let's go to this real quick. Oh, okay. Let me know something then. Young Rome, salute. What up, bro? We'll get into this one real quick. Hold on. Let's go down here. Of course, we all got family in the South. I can show y'all this. Green Regal with Gangster Party bumping. Masterpiece Southwest. Bear with me. Bear with me. I don't know why my computer is taking this long. The last strike shorts allow me to copy down South Hustlers too. And we're gonna go into introducing you guys to some of these. How about Reggie? Now, right, damn, y'all only give me one strike. And Trey Savage, one of the main characters. In this, you just seen Detective Michael Poet, a new phone, who was a LA Sheriff's Department. And we're gonna get into the LA Sheriffs and their modus operandi, what they're notorious for doing, how they carry on their work, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. But first, I want to get y'all to this PowerPoint and share this with y'all so that I can explain to you guys who's who. With no relations to do with the Homies podcast. So, here you go. We go back all the way to the Deja 34, and we'll get into that later. But these two, the Deja 34 investigation into Shaquille O'Neal, Money Mark Stevens, and Stutterbox ended up crossing paths later on down the line with the investigation of Biggie Smalls, and which is also allegedly, hypothetically, and theorized to be tied to the Tupac Shakur unaliving. So let's get to Detective Russell Poole first, right? So Detective Russell Poole is a former LAPD robbery homicide detective. He led the lead investigator in Liga gang shooting. He also investigated alleged station house beating of a gang member by crash officer Brian Hewitt. Detective Poole was met with resistance inside the LAPD to fully investigate the murder of Christopher Wallace and to fully investigate the corruption of Officer Kevin Gaines by department leadership. You talk about Chief Bernard Parks all the way down. He later is pulled off of the cases and reassigned and eventually pushed out of the department. His reports on the incidents are gutted, and much of the information disappears along with Frank Liger's personal package. Package meaning Frank Liger's dirty reputation and complaints against him. A confession letter to the murder of Tupac and attempt to murder Suge Knight is written in 1998 as dictated by Malcolm Patton, one of the shooters, and given to Fox 11 journalist Chris Blatchford. Chris Blatchford also talks to Malcolm Patton about the murder and provides a written statement on his confession. That letter details that the conspiracy to commit murder began in Balboa, clearly giving Los Angeles jurisdiction over the case. So you're talking about where the jurisdiction of Tupac was unalived in Las Vegas, but if there was a conspiracy to commit the unaliving that began in Los Angeles, there's a legal argument on who should have run the investigation, and he had a confession letter which would give jurisdiction over the Tupac murder case to Los Angeles. June 24th, 2014, Russell Poole and R.J. Bond met with 4 representatives from the LAPD and provided them with a copy of the confession letter. They placed special markings on the letter and received assurances the information will be investigated. Oh, we're going to take care of it. Thank you for giving us the confession letter. Instead, the confession letter was leaked 6 days after the letter appears on the internet. Suge Knight is shot in West Hollywood nightclub by assailants that yell, "You killed Tupac," as they fire shots at Knight. The attempt to derail the confession letter is traced back to Reggie Wright Jr. and Darren Dupree, one of the cops that Russell and RJ gave the confession letter to. Sound like a cover-up. This is nasty work. So I want to show, I'll stop right there because I want to show y'all a photo of Detective Russell Poole so that you can match a face with him, the original the original detective on the Tupac Shakur investigation and the investigation of Biggie Smalls unaliving. Let me show y'all this picture real quick. Then we're gonna get on into some of the other players. So here you go right here. This is Detective Russell Poole. If you've never seen him, this is his book, The Labyrinth. Oh my goodness. There it goes right there. That's Detective Russell Poole. And here's a little summary of different stuff as it relates to him. So that's, put that face with the information that I just provided you, right? Let's get to let's get back to some of these other cops. So they talked about Darren Dupree. Let's bring Darren Dupree back up. Shout out Port Arthur, Texas. Introduce you guys to him. He comes in later as part of the task force with Greg Caden. Greg Caden made sure he went and got Darren Dupree. But before we get to Darren Dupree, a matter of fact, let me get back to the officers that Detective Michael Coette was talking about, who were initially on the investigation. He said Brian Tyndall is the one that hired the task force later on. We could kill that all. Let's go. Okay, so he said Brian Tyndall. Hope you guys can see that.
I'll show y'all some
This is
pictures
what we
of
got
some of
on
these
Brian Tyndall.
cops once
He told the
it's
chief
finished.
of the LAPD that Russell Poole believes David Mack was involved in a conspiracy to kill Biggie Smalls. Brian Tyndall, the lead investigator, views members of the task force team investigating Rampart have come to believe Rafael Perez is not just a rogue cop deciding to come clean. He's a brilliant manipulator who may have misdirected their inquiry. He's a convict. He's a perjurer. He's a dope dealer. So we don't believe a word that he say. That's very, very crazy of a position to take because it's irrational. It's emotional. And what that makes me believe is the guy who put together, later put together the task force was biased because he,
if that like button
Rafael
on your way
Perez
out,
was
if you gone.
exposing his co-workers. These police officers dream of being police officers, or they failed in the life that they were leading before, and now they're police officers, and then they get involved and go over the
Oh, we
line.
already
Once
checked it out,
they
Cal.
don't even have the power and wear the drawers in their home, most of which, and now they're put in a position
I'ma
of
show you a
authority,
picture
and they
of Russell
abuse
Poole.
that authority, right? Rafael Perez, information that he provided, and we're going to get into that and let you know who Rafael Perez is. But this guy says he doesn't believe a word that he says, even though it resulted in the overturning of hundreds of cases. Even though the city of Los Angeles and the LAPD paid millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. But you don't believe a word that he says? That sounds like somebody who starts from a biased position. And this is the guy who started that, what you call it. Let's go. He said, Detective Timothy Brennan. Brennan was born in Chicago, Illinois, March 2nd, 1959. November 16th through 2021 is when he passed away. Both of his grandfathers were Chicago PD from the 1920s through the 1950s. Gang wars of Al Capone and the Italian gangsters versus Bugs Moran and the Irish gangsters. So his grandfathers were police who lived through an era of gangsterism in Chicago. In 1982, Timothy Brennan joined the Compton Police Department. In 1988, he was promoted to the Compton
That was
Gang
training
Unit,
day, bro.
to the
Based
Compton
off of
Unit
Rafael
as a
Perez.
detective. He worked on the murder investigations of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls with the LAPD. In 1996, Brennan and Robert Ladd assisted the Las Vegas Police Department in the investigation of Tupac's murder. Well, if Brennan wrote a gang warrant affidavit that named Orlando Baby Lane Anderson as a suspect. So you got a sheriff, a Compton Police Department officer writing a police warrant affidavit naming Baby Lane Orlando Anderson as a suspect in the murder of Tupac Shakur. When the jurisdiction for that crime in 1996, that jurisdiction would obviously start, unless you have evidence otherwise, in Las Vegas, Nevada, where he was unalive. Notorious B.I.G. in 1997, Brennan was assigned to help the LAPD investigate the murder of Notorious Big. He also worked on the Notorious Big Task Force investigation from 2006 to 2007. So in 1997, when Biggie was first unalive, there was one investigation, right? This is the investigation that Detective Russell Poole headed. And Brennan somehow was put on that one. But he also worked on the Notorious Big resuscitated investigation with the task force. which was headed by Greg Cable. His claim to fame is that he arrested Eazy-E. Okay, I see that your claim to fame has something to do with hip-hop. Biggie, Tupac, Eazy-E. You got a real specialty in these type of cases. These is the type of investigations that you like to get into when you were alive. Claimed that Baby Lane's initiation was to shoot at him in McDonald's drive-thru. This is what Detective Brennan claimed. He testified in a notorious big wrongful death lawsuit as a gang expert, claiming that he knows nearly every gang member in Compton, adding that David Mack was not one of them. Well, I wonder if he knew Soulja Boy or Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, people from my hood don't know everybody from their hood. I don't know. I know of, but I don't know everybody from Fruitown Brick. But this police right here says that he knows almost every gang member, not just from one hood, in all of Compton. And this is what he testified at the Biggie Smalls notorious big wrongful death lawsuit. He said he claims he's an expert on Tupac and notorious big murder cases. How much of an expert could you be if neither one led to a conviction of suspects? He investigated and or assisted investigations involving Tupac, Suge, DJ Quick, Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg, Lil Eazy-E, The Game, and Biggie Smalls. Reggie Wright Sr. was Brennan's sergeant. So this guy was a pupil of Reggie Wright Sr. How convenient. I don't believe in conspiracies, but don't this got to be some kind of like conflict of interest when you have Reggie Wright Jr. as a suspect in both of these unalivings? Reggie Wright Jr. is a suspect in the murder of Biggie Smalls and a suspect in the murder of Tupac Shakur. He was just listed as that in a motion by a private investigator and the attorney, Akeefe D. Nasty work. Brennan's partner, Detective Robert Ladd, born February 19, 1959 in Hawthorne, California, and lived in Garden Grove, worked as a reserve GGPD. He joined the Compton PD in 1982. He partnered with Brennan in 1985. He was not a part of the LAPD Biggie Task Force. The LAPD Task Force finds a 40 Glock buried at a alleged Southside Compton Crip member house, Corey Evans, aided in the Tupac murder investigation, investigated and or assisted investigations involving Tupac Shakur, Suge Knight, DJ Quick, Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg, Little Easy, The Game, and Biggie. Reggie Wright Sr. chose Ladd and Brennan for their position. So not only was Reggie Wright Sr. Brennan's sergeant, he was the sergeant that chose Ladd and Brennan. They owe that position and promotion to the gang unit to Reggie Wright Sr. Wait, what did Robert Ladd say to throw Brennan and Ladd were assigned to assist Las Vegas Police Department in the Tupac murder. They were assigned. Who was their boss? Reggie Wright Sr. They were assigned to assist Las Vegas Police Department in the investigation of Tupac Shakur murder. Dang. Frank Liger, we can get to him later. Detective Coet, who we just heard speaking, claims he was at the sheriff's office when Detective Russell Poole died. At one point claimed it was not a heart attack. So how did he die? Detective Coet. He claims they met with Detective Poole to discuss Poole's theory of jurisdiction of where the Tupac murder conspiracy began. Right? The same which came out in the confession letter, the same confession letter that was leaked by Detective Darren Dupree, who gave it to Detective Greg Caden. And they put him on, I wonder if that was his initiation to the task force. Heart attack gun. 12/24/2002 was investigating Suge Knight prior to high-profile raid by 175 sheriff deputies. After failed raid, Detective Coet admitted that you approached Suge,
is Timothy
that he
Brennan.
approached Suge
That's
for
what we
information
talking
about the investigation, but Suge refused to help and was arrested for a parole violation. Oh, you don't want to provide information about who killed Tupac? Well, we're going to violate your parole. We brought 175 sheriff police deputies to raid your house and arrest you for a parole violation. If grandstanding wasn't a thing, I don't know what we would call that. He leaked to the press that there was a hit out on Suge Knight. So there's a lot of narratives being pushed out into the open. I thought that that would muddy investigations, right? He was on the joint task force investigating Tupac and Biggie murders with Greg Caden. The whole purpose of the task force was to disprove a $400 million lawsuit filed by Biggie's mother and Faith Evans. Greg Caden's job was to prove. Hey, just so y'all know, we'll take this time while we talked about Viola Wallace. We'll give a few seconds of prayer. Hopefully that lady will find peace. Hopefully she up there with her son for eternity. Let's just give it a 3-second silence. Thank y'all. When we finish this one, we'll tune in tomorrow. LAPD involvement in Biggie's murder. That was the #1 priority. On July 16, 2008, investigator Coet spoke with Detective Quintero regarding the Deja 34 investigation, telling Quintero that they were assigned to a task force with the LAPD. Hey, look, you guys is investigating this Deja 34, Shaquille O'Neal, Mark Stevens, and the alleged kidnapping, robbery, assault, attempted extortion, and attempted blackmail case involving Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox. We're involved with this task force with the LAPD, and they were also involved in the Main Street Mafia Crip investigation. Do y'all see how there's 2 different investigations that crossed up 3? The Biggie Small murder investigation, which they're involved in, Tupac murder investigation, which they participated in, the Deja 34 investigation that Detective Quintero was involved in, where Robert Ross was the victim, and then there was a Main Street Mafia Crip investigation. Detective Coet requested that the case be reassigned to them. Their request was granted. After reviewing the case, investigators plan to speak with the subjects involved with the kidnap robbery and assault of victim Ross. The purpose was to stimulate conversation on the wiretap. So they're going to go interview these guys from Main Street who were outsourced, allegedly outsourced to handle Robert Ross and victimize Robert Ross to get this tape back. They took money from him allegedly, and the police went to interview them to shake them up so maybe they'll get to talking on the phone, stimulate conversation about the crime on the phone. They interviewed Ross. He interviewed Robert Ross with his partner, Paul Fournier, at LA County Sheriff's Homicide Bureau. So his partner, Paul Fournier, is the lead investigator. Remember this before we get to the second day of the manufacturing of plant, WACK100 that the lead investigator of the Deja 34, Shaquille O'Neal, Mark Stevens, Stutterbox, kidnap, robbery, assault, extortion, blackmail investigation was Paul Fournier and his partner, Detective Michael Cohen. So when WACK100 brings Reggie Wright Jr. and Detective Greg Caden and introduced them as the lead investigators of the Deja 34 investigation, he was being deceptive and manipulating you guys,
Ezra,
to defend
Stutterbox,
him being
J Hood
confidential
Dad.
source to back. Paul Fournier told Tim Brennan that an informant with ties to Paru Bloods and Death Row had identified Anderson as Tupac shooter, right? April 28th, 2009, was with the LA Sheriff Department team raiding Saldana's home. In the course of a neighborhood sweep, they seized 51 baggies of marijuana. Sheriffs arrested Saldana's wife and put Saldana's children in Department of Children Services and utilized that as leverage to make and flip Saldana. Imagine that. 51 bags of weed. Say they were nickel bags, right? 51 nickel bags of weed, a couple ounces, QP, say about a QP, right? Quarter pound of marijuana. And this dude, this police officer wants a conviction and information so bad that is when Saldana said, "Oh, that's my weed." No, we're arresting your wife, right? And now we're going to put your kids in Department of Children's Services because you won't give us the information we want. We're going to tear your family up. These is the type of police officers that the sheriffs, the LA sheriffs, got working in the inner city communities and ghettos, predominantly populated by melanated blacks and so-called blacks and Latinos. He was also Detective Cohen's partner, and he used that leverage to flip Saldana. A sheriff investigator report said that a flurry of calls between the alleged ringleader of the assault with Del Dog and O'Neal's business partner Mark Stevens happened around the time of the alleged kidnapping of Ross. So Paul Fournier, in 1996, Paul Fournier told Compton Police Department cops that Brennan and Ladd, that an informant with ties to Paru Bloods and Death Row, had identified Anderson as Tupac Shakur's shooter. So these guys are already since 1996 have a relationship with and have been building with Tim Brennan, him and his partner, Robert Ladd. And we'll get into, y'all remember that information specifically for when we get back to the Deja 34 investigation, the Main Street Mafia Crip investigation. And but first I want to get into COINTELPRO. Let's go here.
Deemed a threat to the existing social and political order between 1950. And 1971, then they almost certainly were. COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program, was an FBI program designed to infiltrate, monitor, and discredit members of various organizations through covert and illegal means. The groups targeted included both left-leaning groups such as the Communist Party, feminist and civil rights activism groups, and anti-war protesters, as well as right-leaning groups like the KKK and the National States' Rights Party. The list of abuses by J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI is seemingly endless. Among their more mundane activities were psychological warfare and leaking fake documents to the press, press to defame a person. When things got severe, targets of COINTELPRO would find themselves falsely imprisoned, with the FBI engaging in perjury, witness intimidation, harassment, and withholding exculpatory evidence. In the worst cases, COINTELPRO took part in assassinations, though who specifically was assassinated by COINTELPRO is not a matter of public record. Some of the program's known targets included Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Ernest Hemingway, Viola Luso, and Fred Hampton. Is the going?
Run that link up in the chat. Something to let you know a little bit more about COINTELPRO, and we'll get rid of that one. Now, let me go ahead and pull up. Another little short on COINTELPRO, and then we're going to get into these actual agencies. So now you guys know Detective Russell Poole. You guys know about Greg Caden. You guys know about Darren Dupree and his ties to hip hop, his understanding and knowledge of hip hop, right? And we'll get into more of that also. Let me see what we could get into with let's get into exposing the LAPD. Oh yeah, here go the short. Let's start this over. This is who they send into our communities.
Is tough to watch.
Gang unit officers.
I wouldn't go to Syria. I wouldn't go to Iraq. I wouldn't go to Afghanistan. I wouldn't go to Yemen. I wouldn't go to Tunisia. I wouldn't go to Lebanon. I wouldn't go to Jordan. I would do it here.
This is what they do to our Latino and Hispanic populations. They sick them into our communities who don't understand our culture, who don't understand our history, and that we fought for their ancestors to have civil rights, right? And we're being attacked, and our leaders and leadership decimated in our community so that they can steadily chip away at those civil rights, those human rights that we fought for and solidified on behalf of their ancestors. And they put them in as part of the Rampart scandal. This is nasty work. None of them look like us. But just like we got house niggas, so do they. It don't, just like we got ignorant people within our community, so do they. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to this one real quick. This one, we can get rid of that one. We can close that up. And we're going to get into one more about COINTELPRO, and then we're going to get into the Rampart scandal and how all of this ties in. Let's go. It's only a 1 minute clip. Shouldn't take that long. Let's go.
We know the government watches us, but what about when government surveillance changes the course of history? In the 1960s,
government surveillance.
The US government started a program called COINTELPRO, or the Counterintelligence Program. The program was a series of secret FBI initiatives targeting activists, political, and minority groups. The American Indian Movement, the Black Panthers, Martin Luther King, women's and civil rights groups, Vietnam War protesters, and anyone who got the government seeing red. Tactics used included infiltration and surveying and discrediting leaders and causes in order to undermine entire movements and organizations. But a lot of what COINTELPRO did was illegal, and it was officially disbanded in 1971. So if you ask many activist groups and political dissidents, it still exists, just in another form.
It still exists, just in another form. Nasty work. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get rid of that, and we're gonna get rid of that.
You
I'm
bet.
finna show y'all about a little bit about Rampart, because these same police officers that we were talking about, Detective Russell Poole was investigating and is the one that took down Rafael Perez. Let's show y'all and get into this, man, because this is gonna get good. Let's jump down this rabbit hole. A dirty pig.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's what you can prove. This haunting line, uttered by Denzel Washington's corrupt LAPD narcotics officer Alonzo Harris in the 2001 crime thriller Training Day, encapsulates the moral descent of the very real-life rogue cop whose actions inspired the iconic character, Rafael Perez. Just like Harris, Perez's actions exposed the dark underbelly of police corruption that rocked the Los Angeles Police Department to its core. Born in Puerto Rico in 1967, Rafael Perez joined the LAPD in 1989 after serving in the Marines. His aggressive persona and streetwise ways quickly earned him a reputation, leading to his transfer in 1995 to the elite Rampart Division anti-gang Crash.
Crash, a piece of shit. For real, Damu Kiwe.
The Community Resource Against Street Hoodlums Unit. It was here that
Let me get some of this up out of here, man.
Perez's moral descent began. Immersing himself in the world of
Yeah, that car had to be
gangs and narcotics, Perez adopted the same us against them mentality that defined Alonzo Harris. He operated with the arrogance of being above the law, part cop and part gangbanger, just like his cinematic counterpart. In the book Bad, Infamy, Darkness, Evil, and Slime on Screen, writer Aaron Baker directly links the two, saying the film's Alonzo Harris is a composite of the Rampart villain Perez and David Mack, both Latino and African American, part cop and part gangbanger. Perez's job became his intoxicant, and the ends justified the means, no matter how corrupt or illegal his actions were. In his own words, we vaguely sensed we were doing the wrong things for the right reasons. Time and again, I stepped over that line. Once crossed, I hurtled over it again and again, landing with both feet sometimes on innocent persons. My job became an intoxicant that I lusted after. Just as Harris had no qualms about shaking down drug dealers, Perez admitted to stealing drugs from police evidence lockers and reselling them on the streets through his girlfriend, a Salvadoran mistress akin to Harris's lover, Veronica, in the film. He confessed to hundreds of instances of perjury, falsifying evidence, and false arrest, all to put gang members behind bars, guilty or not. In one particularly heinous act mirroring Harris's actions in Training Day, Perez and his partner, Nino Durden, shot and framed an unarmed 19-year-old gang member, Javier Ovando, leaving him paralyzed based on their lies and planted evidence. Ovando's wrongful conviction, based solely on Perez's perjury, would later be vacated, with the city awarding him $15 million, the largest police misconduct settlement in its history. The Rampart Crash Unit had become a gang of its own, a secret fraternity where crimes were committed and celebrated, just like the Blue Brotherhood depicted in Training Day. Perez's actions, from planting evidence to reselling stolen drugs, were all part of the organized criminal subculture that had taken root within the LAPD's anti-gang efforts. Perez's sordid narrative was just one piece of the real-life Rampart scandal, a densely woven tapestry of police corruption, gang activity, and celebrity ties. It began unraveling in November 1997 when a bank robbery crew stole over $700,000 from a Los Angeles Bank of America branch. The mastermind was soon identified as David Mack, not just a criminal, but an active LAPD officer with ties to the notorious Mob Piru Blood street gang. Mack's illicit world collided with Perez's, as the two had previously been partners in the Crash Unit. The discoveries opened a Pandora's box of transgression, from evidence tampering and assault to alleged involvement in the still unsolved murder of rap icon, the notorious B.I.G. The lines between cops and criminals had blurred completely in this criminal subculture, festering within the department's rank and file. Events mirroring many of the corrupt acts depicted in Training Day began coming to light. It all came crashing down in 1998 when Perez was caught stealing 6 pounds of cocaine worth $800,000 from the police property room. His arrest uncovered a Pandora's box of rampant misconduct, including planting evidence, perjury, beating suspects, and connections to the bank robbery. The depths of depravity were shocking. Crimes celebrated within this criminal subculture masquerading as a police force. The full extent of the corruption was even more disturbing than initially realized.
That's why Reggie got mad.
The fallout was immense. Over 100 tainted convictions overturned, 200 lawsuits filed against the city, and $125 million paid in settlements. The depths of corruption exposed shattered public trust in law enforcement and led to the disbanding of all crash units by the year 2000, as it became clear just how deeply embedded these criminal practices were within the special units. Director Antoine Fuqua drew from his own experience with corrupt police officers to develop a gritty portrayal of these issues in his 2001 crime thriller Training Day. Growing up in a tough Pittsburgh neighborhood gave Fuqua unique insight into the dubious police conduct. Fuqua's background influenced his nuanced characterization of Denzel Washington's Alonzo Harris, an officer who cautions his trainee that
the shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
Underscoring how the high-stakes nature of their work can corrupt even sworn protectors, transforming them into criminal kingpins that blur the lines of justice. A concept all too real given the criminal subculture exposed within the Rampart division in the wake of Perez's arrest. The parallels between Rafael Perez's real downfall and Harris's fictional storyline were uncanny. Perez's tragic descent from officer to criminal mirrored the corruption at the heart of Training Day. His arrest for cocaine theft epitomized the moral bankruptcy targeted by the film. In this way, Perez's story served as the perfect inspiration for Denzel Washington's haunting and disturbing portrayal of a crooked cop corrupted by absolute power.
And there you have it. That's the essence of the Rampart scandal. We're going to get rid of that link, and we're going to go right back into let you guys know a little bit more. Let's go into this PBS thing. Oh, hold on. I got to share it with y'all first. Let me share that with y'all. And it gives a little bit more insight of these characters. I want to make sure that you've been introduced to the foulness of law enforcement. One of the reasons why those in our community don't work with them. So when you lames that have been colonized mentally and who accepted that defeat and have no fight left in you, and you integrate into society and accept that lesser position up under the dominance of white supremacy, right? And you choose that you decide to work with and live and accept what they have to offer you. This is why we go against you. So Rafael Perez, the officer at the center of the Rampart scandal, in 1998, he was arrested for stealing cocaine from a police evidence room. After his trial ended in a hung jury, prosecutors traced more drug thefts to Perez. Faced with the mounting evidence, Perez cut a deal with the prosecutors in which he agreed to testify about police misconduct in exchange for a 5-year prison sentence. After reviewing more than 1,500 arrests, Perez identified 91 problematic cases from bad shootings, meaning that the police shot people wrongfully, to fabricated evidence, which means they were planting drugs and guns and drugs on alleged suspects. I went through that. Bad shooting. I could have been that, but they missed 2 bullets, missed when Officer Messenger, Livingston's partner, missed the two shootings on the two gun bullets missed me. They never wrote a report about it, a discharge in a firearm. They never wrote a report about discharging their firearm, and they left it. There were witnesses who seen this. They planted drugs on me. I had witnesses who they told him that they were gonna get me when they seen me, and they did. I got witnesses who they bragged about planting drugs on me after it happened. But at that point, this was right before this was exposed. I'm in the county jail in 1999 when this was exposed, fighting the case where the police had planted dope on me and had just took a plea agreement to terrorist threats on the police officers, which no contest. I pleaded no contest, and they dismissed the dope that I never seen till today. I never seen that dope. I never had any dope. Battery and obstructing and resisting executive officer. These are the beefed up charges that they put on there, and I pled out to the terrorist threat, which I did threaten the police after they'd already shot at me, planted drugs on me. Yeah, I did threaten the police, but it was only after they had did all of that. But anyway, Perez implicated 70 officers in criminal or administrative wrongdoing. As a result, nearly 100 criminal convictions have been overturned and millions of dollars in settlement have been paid out. Nino Durden, along with partner Ray Perez, LAPD officer Nino Durden shot, framed, and then testified against unarmed 19-year-old gang member Javier Ovando in 1996. Ovando, I believe, is the SA from 18th Street, where my sister's from. Hey, shout out to La Traviesa, King Boulevard, 18th Street. Arrested for attempted murder in July 2000, Durden pled guilty to 10 state and federal charges, including the false arrest of Ovando, and is expected to receive a sentence of up to 8 years in prison. As part of the plea deal, Durden is cooperating with investigators, including possible. I believe you. That's the shit. I thought that the guy who started the joint task force and hired Greg Caden to head it said that he didn't believe one word Perez stated. Well, this officer, Nino Durden, is saying that he didn't lie. He pled guilty that Ray Perez didn't lie about everything, because he even corroborates some of Ray Perez's statements and is ready to cooperate against Rafael Perez. So they had to be telling some kind of truth. So the leader of the guy who hired Greg Caden for his task force after the Biggie Smalls mother in the state, her and Faith Evans, the state of Biggie Small filed a $400 million lawsuit, was biased from the beginning. David Mack, former partner of Rafael Perez, LAPD officer David Mack, was convicted of the 1997 theft of $722,000 from a Bank of America branch in Los Angeles, which happened to be at the University of Southern California Village, the USC Village. You know what I'm saying? Where I grew up, worked at 32nd Street Market. Not officially. I helped old women and old people with their groceries. Hey, can I carry your groceries to your bag for tips? Yeah, I was a young hustler, homeless child. So that's what I did. 2 days after the bank robbery, Mack took a gambling trip to Las Vegas with 2 other police officers, including Rafael Perez. In the course of investigating the bank robbery, detectives developed leads that caused them to believe at the time that Mack was a possible suspect in the 1997 murder of East Coast rap star Biggie Smalls, a.k.a. Notorious B.I.G., Mac is serving a 14-year sentence, has reportedly claimed association with as a Paru Blood, an LA gang that has ties to Death Row Records. Ma Paru. Yeah, when I got to the special management unit, me and the homie SI murder with Sellies. When I came back after I got re-indicted by the feds. I went back to LA and I beat the assault, the new indictment, which was 3 assault on federal correctional officer charges. Officer Gomez and Officer CO Gutierrez, Andres Gutierrez. I beat that in trial. Well, I was found not guilty in trial. I didn't beat it because I wasn't guilty. It was beefed up charges. The same kind of stuff that was going on with these Rampart scandal when these crash units throughout Los Angeles, right? But when I got to the Smooth, the police asked me, "Hey, Sims, are you a blood? You're a Crip or a Blood?" I said, "I'm a Blood from LA." They said, "Oh, do you know David Mack?" He said that he's a Blood. He's a Ma Paru. So he went to the feds claiming nobody wasn't going to do nothing to him. This is Bloods, M.O.B. You know what I'm saying? But he's a suspect in the Biggie Small murder investigation. This is what this paperwork is asserting. You know what I'm saying? These dirty cops were doing all of this stuff. So I done gave y'all a summary of what's going on with these dirty pigs and what was going on with the Rampart scandal. Y'all seen that. And those is the ones. Let me let you know a little bit about the executioners, right? I don't know if y'all know about the executioners. Compton. You know what I'm saying? Compton. Let me let y'all know about them, and then we'll be done with these police. It's almost an hour in, and we ain't even got to what we want to get to. Let's get to this real quick. Executioners is a deputy gang within the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Congressional leader Maxine Waters called for a Department of Justice inquiry into the existence of the gang. Members of the executioner are deputies operating out of Compton Station of the LASD. These deputies share a tattoo which features a skeleton with an assault rifle and a military-style helmet. The gang was founded by former 2000 Boys member Andy Toon. Members of the executioners are drawn from deputies who work at Compton Station at LA Sheriff's Department, knock LA. Now, I don't know nobody that jumped on David Mack. I was saying the dude that David Mack and Rafael Perez shot got a $15 million lawsuit, and they planted a ghost gun on him, right? Which was his third strike. So he's sitting up in the pen with 25 years to life, and he's handicapped, right? Well, he got out, but I don't know. Maybe he back by now for something else. But he was from 18th Street, and I was saying that's where my sister from. So I was shouting out my sister, but this, man. It's a long night. Hey, we got a super chat. Yael, where the hell you go? Yael, never basic sweets. It is the gram. Follow your girl. Sweets, basic sweets is the gram. Follow your girl so I can message you. Keep up the good fight. Y'all salute to real ones. Okay. They choosing up. You said, man got jumped by the 18 now. Vidal. 2 Compton police got killed in 92. Damn, who going to police the police? Hey, listen, that's why we don't even got to worry about that. We just got to worry about police in our own. The gang consists of around 80 members. Potential recruits are chosen based on past acts of violence against members of the Compton community. This is how their secret society in the police station are chosen by violence against members of the Compton community. They're supposed to protect and serve the community, yet they have gangs that are specially recruited, secret societies recruited by their acts of violence against members of the community. and recruits cannot be black or female. They sound like the KKK. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on in Compton. The executioners. Let me run this video real quick for y'all. Y'all can hear how they talk about what's going on, because y'all might not believe me or Wikipedia. Let's get into this real quick, man.
Donald Keyway, conversations.
In flames, an AK-47 and a Nazi-style helmet. Miriam Hernandez has a closer look at the pressure mounting on the department to open their files on any groups like this.
From inside the Compton Sheriff Station,
Donald Keyway, conversation. This computer must be full. It is really messing up. And I know I got internet. Let's go. Yeah, it definitely has the internet access on. I don't know why it's doing this. I might have to cut some.
deputies claim filed with the county about an aggressive band of his cohorts allegedly in control. According to the claim, members are branded with a sinister logo,
which is a skeleton wearing a Nazi helmet with an AK-47 laughing.
And go by a sinister name, the Executioners, which according to the claim does not allow African American or female members. Deputy Art Gonzalez alleges the deputy gang is trampling on the rights of citizens and targeting him as a whistleblower.
Deputy Gonzalez, he's afraid for his safety right now, as he should be. This is a violent gang, violence, shootings, beatings.
Why y'all beating him? Claims of excessive force and much more. And the timing. As community outcry demands systemic change, allegations in the filing claim that as many as 40% of Compton deputies are inked executioners or prospects. Rumblings reaching the sheriff.
Well, first of all, there is no gang of any deputies running any station right now. This matter has already been receiving very swift administrative action. We've already taken positive steps.
Pressure for change is intensifying. Professor Sean Kennedy at Loyola Law School releasing a 2-year study of deputy gangs, including the executioners.
Often the inking is attached to some kind of act of violence, including a shooting. It's the ultimate expression of your commitment to policing and your commitment to the deputy gang.
The complainant, Deputy Art Gonzalez, is a former U.S. Marine decorated for his service in Iraq, Afghanistan. Here in Compton, once praised for speedy action to save a 4-year-old boy shot in the head. The tipping point? Gonzalez says he witnessed a deputy executioner assaulting a fellow deputy. Gonzalez called a confidential tip line for internal affairs. To his shock, he says in his claim, the recording was intercepted.
Wow. Y'all see how deep the corruption go in? So here you got a Compton sheriff, LA sheriff out of the Compton division who knows about this gang. He knows that over 40% are members of the Compton sheriffs, are members of the executioners or prospects to be members of the executioners. This guy became a police officer, obviously, to try to do good and to make good in these communities. He even got famous for saving a girl, a little baby, out of a car. And he didn't have too much of a problem with this gang and underground society within the administration until he seen the executioners beat up another sheriff. So he tries to make a tip to be a whistleblower, right? And hits the internal affairs, and it was intercepted by some executioners. That's how powerful they are. And then the head of he comes to try to do damage control with the concerns of those in the community who understand what's going on by this racist sheriff gang within the police department. Hey, listen, man, hip hop police anti-black, anti-community. This is what the slave catchers. These police stations were started as slave catchers. This is what is being unleashed into our communities. Introduction to COINTELPRO and the crooked cops involved. Now y'all know about some of these cops. And we're gonna let you know about some of their informants. Damu Keyway Conversations. We got that's it. Hey, we got a super chat, y'all. Can you read that super chat before we get up out of here? That was a long live. We talking about 2 hours and 46 minutes. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You read that the super chat?
All right, we got 2 super chats in the building. Salute. We got Britt the Beautiful with the $4.99. Yael Never Basics Sweet. I mean, never Basics Sweet is the gram. Follow your girl so I can message you. Keep up the good fight. Salute to the real ones. And then we got C Skrilla first. Keep smashing them like keep smashing these suckers. Covers is blown. Hey man, with the $9.99 super chat. Hey man, salute to Brit the Beauty and C Skrilla first, man. We appreciate any and everything that's given to the Damo Keyway Conversation team is highly appreciated. Salute to you, your family, and your tribe.
Hey, V-Dog, great comment. He said, I'm so glad they got rid of the Compton Police Department. Reggie and his daddy and Blondie punk ass was on some bullshit. Yeah, we was just talking about Blondie, and we're going to talk more about Blondie because Tim Brennan was working for and up under his sergeant. His sergeant was Reggie Wright Sr. And this is the same person that sent them to Vegas to investigate Compton Police Department, going to Vegas to investigate the Tupac murder without jurisdiction. And these are the same people that Greg Caton put on his task force on what appears to be a cover-up. Hey, look, everybody be safe, stay dangerous. Today we introduce you to the hip-hop police, and y'all be staying tuned. I think we're going to go live early Saturday tomorrow, maybe about noon. So we can start knocking this shit out. We might go live twice tomorrow. And so we could get through the CS2 back shit. Most of it's already recorded, but we'll be going live with some more shit anyway. So salute. You tell them where they at, Yael.
Man, listen, y'all done set through this live, man, with this very valid, exclusive, and very informational data content produced by Do Sims and the whole team, Scandalous Los Angeles TV, and we got Dose of Reality TV. Man, salute to everybody that's on Clubhouse right now. Salute to the mods that was on their job. Hey, salute to the chat. Y'all know where y'all at, man, and the Goose. Salute to you, too, and any and everybody that's in the Clubhouse room, man. And again, one of the dopest lives on YouTube. Salute to the valid supporters that's always coming in. Salute to the Blue Wrench mob that's always on their job. That chat, you already know that's where it's at, man. Always Chucks and Stars. You know who you are, man. Listen, one of the hottest lives on YouTube and one of the dopest rooms on Clubhouse. The voices of the culture. Do Sims the Don. Yael the Keyway Pop Star. Another hot live edition of Damu Keyway Conversations.
And we